haram.
I still got an interview with Shurur on this one.
We go.
So me and Shurur in London.
Because I'm very early in the morning, 6 o'clock. So at around 11, I feel hungry.
It's noon for you already.
Because I take only, fruit in the morning.
That's best also.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was interesting. So in a sense, we discussed it all. Of course, the faith, the expansion, the strengthening of the connection, and also understanding that there are a lot of connections, even now for you, between you and the cosmos.
Right.
Because probably a lot of threads also between you and other people, and then the cosmos.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Do you understand it also a bit like that? You are connected to the cosmos by other things that go.
Well, I mean, connected with people and connected with the cosmos. I mean, this enrich each other. Okay. So the more you are aware of this, complexity and ambiguity, the more you have this very strong readability to understand people as they are, or not to frown to the way they are connected to people, because you don't think that the only way to connect is your own. Okay, because you appreciate your individuality, and you understand even within the same religious tradition. Okay, people can be connected in different ways. Okay, so this gives you a more space to better understand, people, whether they belong to the same, religion that you belong to, or they belong to other religion, or they don't belong to any religion, but they have certain affiliation with religiosity, with spirituality.
So in a sense, to believe that only a certain connection is valid or not, that's dogmatism.
That is the most dangerous dogma. That's the most. If the Quran is telling me, لله المشرق والمغرب, whenever you turn your face, there is Allah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's and when the Quran tells me وهو في الأرض في السماء إله وفي الأرض إله, so in the sky and on earth. So this is, or أقرب إليك من حبل الوريد, he is closer to you than your feet. Okay, so there is a lot of expressions in the Quran that strengthen this kind of understanding of faith as connectivity.
Exactly.
Okay. It's not the east, it's not the west, it's not the sky, it's not the earth.
Wherever you.
It's all.
You can connect with him everywhere.
Which means is not a personal. Okay.
Exactly.
It's not a personal God who is situated in certain space. And this is the only way you understand the throne, the arch, you understand the kursi. If you take it literally, you are in real trouble.
Because you limit.
Because you limit, and because you almost delete. This لله المشرق والمغرب. Okay.
Exactly.
So it's that is the concept of non-limited divine. It's something that would reach, okay, without being imprisoned in pantheism.
Exactly.
Okay, and this is the edge that Ibn Arabi, for example, reached. Okay, it doesn't matter. Even the image does not matter. And here is Ibn Arabi wonderful expression that when You can experience God in the Kaaba, in the synagogue, in church, okay, in idols, okay. As long as you are not imprisoned in the image.
Exactly.
The moment you are imprisoned in image, that's very dangerous.
The Pakistani scholar Ghulam Ahmed Parvez, he also said one of the meanings in Arabic, linguistic meanings of sharika, of sharing God, is also, it means to ensnare something. It was also used, for example, for the little thong in your sandals.
Right.
So he said it's not only dividing divinity, it's also trying to capture it.
Right.
And this is almost the same thing that
Right.
even the Arabi was saying.
But as always, I mean, I always say we have to be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to assign this kind of term like shirk or ishraka to anyone, because, well, as far as I understand, people are not equal.
Exactly.
In the way they perceive, in the way they experience. Okay.
You don't know their level, so you cannot judge them.
You should not.
Exactly.
Okay. You should not judge it. I mean,
only God.
I mean, if an old, I mean, and this is not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You ask a very, very old lady. This was a long time ago. An old lady. She is, dreaming of going to Hajj. And you ask her, what is in Hajj? What are you? You are very, very, very old. You are sick, and this is very, very tiring journey. She said, I would like to visit God. Well, to visit God, and she said yes, because he is buried in the Kaaba.
Mm-hmm.
This is only the image of wali, of a saint,
Mm-hmm.
That is buried in a shrine.
Yeah.
Okay.
She only knows the Al-Quds.
So she thinks or imagines God as like a wali,
Yeah.
and this is his shrine.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot really, just make judgment about this woman, thinking how stupid she is.
Like a Wahhabi would do from his kind of dogmatism.
Exactly. And I think here also I belong to this kind of. I just mentioned Ibn Arabi.
Mm-hmm.
I have to mention Ibn Rushd also. That it's very clear that religion is not only for philosophers.
Mm.
It's for everyone.
Exactly. And of course that's what Ibn Rushd tried to emphasize.
Exactly, that it's for everyone.
Yeah.
And he always quote this, I mean, a man brought his slave girl to Muhammad because he wanted to set her free.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to be sure that she is a believer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Muhammad asked her, where is God? She said, she didn't say anything, she just,
Mm-hmm.
with her finger. So Muhammad said, set her free. She is a believer. Okay, Muhammad didn't want to say, well, because, according to the Quran, God is there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's here.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's everywhere.
So I mean, this is the more your faith is widened, the more you accept all these expressions. Okay, so the more your faith is limited, the more you are dogmatic, and the more you are ready to judge people, even to kill people. Sometimes.
You have this old rabbinic story, which I always love. Is that and that's what I sometimes always love also about rabbis. They always tell you first it's a made-up story. It's just to learn you, to make you to teach you something. And it's about Moses sees this old man praying to God. So he's like, well, let me see what he's praying. So he sees this old dirty man, really dirty, and he's hearing the words that the guy is saying. Oh God, I hope I would love to wash you, to clean you, to pick the fleas from your hairs. So when the guy is done, Moses walks up to him. What are you saying? God is not dirty. God has no fleas. Why do you say that? And the man says, yeah, but I'm dirty. I have fleas. And the only thing I want for God is what I want for myself. This is what I understand, and this is what I wish for him. And Moses said, nonsense. This is what you have to do. You have to pray like this. You have to pray like that. And then, so he does it. Moses feels really proud of himself. Like, I saved another soul by showing him the true way to connect with God. And he walks away. And after a while, an angel walks up to him. And Moses said, I saved a soul. And the angel said, no, God doesn't hear him anymore.
Yeah.
And for me, I heard this story when I was really young, and it always stayed in my mind, because when we're talking now about exactly what you say with the old woman, God is in, it's their connection.
Yeah.
And in a sense, what God judges or not is with God Himself, but
yeah, and of course you have. I mean, but this is not only possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you reach this kind of wide concept of connectivity,
exactly.
when you reach, now you understand that this woman is not wrong. Okay, this man was not wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, it's a level of understanding which is not wrong.
Exactly.
But not the entire truth.
Is that maybe also why Rumi loved to say
Absolutely.
between wrong and right there's a field?
I think I owe this kind of wide concept of connectivity to Sufism, philosophical Sufism, Sufi poetry. That I studied as a scholar, and I still enjoy reading as a person. So in this sense, there is no such a concept like that truth with capital T. It's always it's your connectivity.
Oh, but it's, for example, it's, you mean not attainable by a human?
Yeah. But it could be attainable by
God,
by reason, by whatever it is. But when we're speaking about faith, that's why I don't speak about aqidah. I speak about iman.
Exactly.
And there's a very, very big difference
Exactly.
between iman and aqidah, because aqidah is like making a knocking.
It's a creed.
Yeah.
It's dogmatism.
Yeah, but iman is something very, very open
And personal.
and personal. So it's like the ihsan. What I mean in this, hadith. What is Islam? Okay, and what is iman? So there is, and what is ihsan? So there are levels of connectivity. Islam is the very minimum.
Stage one.
Stage one. Okay, iman is a higher level, faith. And then ihsan is a higher level, because ihsan is to worship God as if you see God. But of course you don't see God.
It's about the connection being so strong.
But He sees you. So it's this kind of being aware of this connectivity. You don't see because it's ghaib, but you know. Okay, and you are sure that you are observant. Being observant means you are under this ocean. Okay, you are just.
You are aware of the water.
You are aware of the water. Yeah. So it's that's why if you remember, I never give a clear answer to any question.
No, my wife loves that.
Yeah,
about you.
because it's if I do this, then I'm a preacher.
Another teacher.
Yeah, not a teacher.
Mm.
And there is no, I mean, in these matters, there is no clear answer. Okay. You have to live with this ambiguity. You have to enjoy this ambiguity. How much ambiguity we are, I mean, in terms of the divine action.
But handling ambiguity, a lot of people can't do that. Is that the reason why they flee to dogmatism? They hold on to?
Yes,
I
think because they don't know how to appreciate it. They have been learning in a wrong, taught in a wrong way. That maybe this is also the influence of Western way of life. Okay. Eastern way of life is Eastern vision, is Eastern way of view is very different whether we speak about India or China or even the Hebrew. Okay.
You can see the difference also in the Western Church and Eastern Church.
Yeah, I mean it has to do with this, with this kind of ambiguity. Okay, there is no logos. Okay, the concept of logos, whether it is language or reason, okay, is not really a central concept in Eastern philosophy. It is not a central concept in the three monotheistic religion. It became a central concept in Christianity after a long time. It became part of the Islamic tradition, especially with philosophy, after a long time. So it's something that is, it's a religion. Religion has always to function very well with ambiguity. Okay, but people, I mean, have to be taught that ambiguity is not evil. Maybe clarity is evil.
Interesting, because a lot of Muslim thinkers would say that because Islam doesn't use philosophy anymore, that is the reason why they hold on to dogmatism. So they see philosophy as ambiguity.
I think philosophy. I mean, philosophy is. I mean, how to philosophize. Okay. Because in philosophy, you could stick to any dogmatic philosophy. You can be a very dogmatic rationalist. You can be a very dogmatic secularist. In this case, it's not philosophy; it's ideology. Okay. So you just left the philosophy behind your back and created an ideology, like Marxism, okay, or communism. Okay, of course. There is a distinction between something that turns into ideology, and with ideology people kill each other. Okay, but philosophy in its real sense has to do with this kind of continuous way of thinking and contemplation. There is no end.
Okay.
There is no end.
The love of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. That's philosophy. That's philosophy. So because in the Muslim world they have been disconnected with this rich concept of philosophy. Okay, they are unable to negotiate. Okay, so any kind of set of ideas that is dogmatized, we call it ideology. Ideology is very, very dangerous. So Islam has been, recently ideologized, okay, as a set of rules to be strictly adhere to. Things are either haram or halal, which is not true in classical Islamic legal theory.
I know.
Because it's 5 categories. It's not 2 categories. It's 5 categories.
And they were always careful with making a judgment.
And the biggest among them is mubah. And that's why some legal theorists refused qiyas. And I agree with them, because qiyas, by applying qiyas,
analogy,
yeah. By applying qiyas, you could turn something mubah into haram.
Exactly. And mubah is, of course,
permitted. It has no legal category.
Exactly.
Okay.
It is the thing that has not been spoken of by the Prophet or from.
Exactly.
So it's part, and that's interesting. Maybe now they make it haram because, of course, they don't like ambiguity. They want clarity.
It's this kind of mutashabihat, this kind of looking for clear answer about everything. How could you have a clear image of the divine?
It's a sort of dualist thinking.
Exactly.
It's either green or red, and for the rest, they try to see how everything fits in those two mindsets.
Right.
And it splits a person up.
Right.
Because, like Ruminan said, between right and wrong, there's a field. There you will find me. I love that saying, because it shows there is ambiguity.
That's why in Iran, where is the long tradition of poetic ambiguity, poetic expression about the divine, about the universe, about the individual, when it became dogmatized, every individual in Iran hates it. The people who are against the regime, they are not against Islam.
Exactly.
They are against
secular.
This kind of Islam, because this is not really the traditional Iranian.
Exactly.
Iranian.
Shiism, of course, is also really mystic, how it originated partially.
And of course, it's and the long history of Persian poetry is poetry. It's poetry, and poetry is the upper language of ambiguity. That's so. This is the real problem of the dogmatic thinking. That's why you can find, Ibn Rushd is a rationalist. He is Aristotelian. Okay, but he in this concept, he as much as Ibn Arabi rejoices ambiguity, Ibn Rushd does.
Yeah, his teacher, of course, was Ibn Tufayl, and Ibn Tufayl was more a mystic. That's why he loved to tell the stories,
right,
and not write about, make clear statements.
And here you have, Hayy ibn Aqzan is a great example of faith attained not through the dogma,
through experience. It's almost it's a mystical but also deistic statement.
It is. So this man who came to our village, Uncle Salama, was just my father, hosted him in our house. So he's a Copt, but he was in our house, and people in the village was, most of the time asking my father, how come that you hosted this man that he's not a Muslim, he's a Copt, and you don't know from where he is, and my father used to say, I don't know, I don't want to know. It's obvious he's from Upper Egypt, so maybe he's escaping some revenge, because revenge in Upper Egypt is a tradition. And then he died. I mean, of course, I was a child, and yeah, Uncle Salama has so many stories to tell for a child. And he died. He was a carpenter.
Carpenter.
Yeah, and he died. And without even consulting with anyone, my father decided to have him buried in our cemetery.
The Muslim cemetery.
Yeah. And you can see, I still remember Uncle Salama.
He made an impression on you.
He made a very, very strong impression on me. And the story, the entire story, this is just an example of how I was brought up.
But how, because of course his stories were probably, of course, different than what your mother or father were telling.
Yeah.
And that kind of way he made an impression on you, the difference.
Even when he found, a job to work with another carpenter in the village, and he, had his own room, rented room outside around, but he still, our guest every nice meal is our guest, and he is still buried in our cemetery. We don't know his family until now.
He had you. He had your family.
Exactly. He had.
But your parents already show you openness.
Well, I mean, and there was no objection in the village. I mean, this is.
It was a different time.
This is also something. Yeah, I'm talking about 1955. This is. It's. So growing up and going into deep into my scholarship, of course it's the time I spent in Japan. I spent 1 month in a Shinto temple, living like a Shinto
beautiful
priest. Yeah. So I learned a lot during my travel. And I'm still learning a lot during my life. And this kind of learning is coming out of this kind of wide connectivity.
This is also maybe why, for example, a lot of Sufi travelers, when they came into India, they started to travel together with the Buddhist monks.
Right.
And they loved going, spreading together, just traveling together.
Yeah.
Because they probably recognize each other's connectiveness.
Right.
Yeah, you want to pray or?
No.
No.
It's not a question of time.
Exactly. God is not waiting. So. That's what my mom always said with those things. God is not waiting for you. So. Second question.
Oh, this was only the first question.
Yeah. But you see, it opened up a whole box of ambiguity.
Yeah.
So.
It should have been, all right. Okay, let's go short.
Yeah, we can talk about. I like this because this is really was really interesting.
Yeah, we are busy with this.
This stupid camera. Yeah. The second one is really simple. You're here now for more than 15 years now here in Holland, and also for this question, it's of course from the guys at the Interfaith website. They ask, is Holland still a nice country for you as a Muslim now in 2010?
I think because I'm able to differentiate between what I call loud voices on the media. Loud voices. I mean, in Japan there is a proverb. Okay, only vacuum drum produce loud voice. I mean, empty drum. You need empty space in order to have a big voice. So those people, whether they are anti-Muslims and anti-Islam, or they are fundamentalists, because fundamentalists also are anti-Muslims, okay, and anti-Islam, they are just big mouths. So I'm able to make this kind of distinction. but they do a lot of harm to the Dutch society.
Exactly.
Both of them.
Because both of them represent an ideology?
Yes. Both represent an ideology. And an ideology which is, full of hate, disrespect.
No nuances.
Yeah, so it's Holland is not the same as Holland. I confronted when I came 1995, of course. 2001, during September, was a turning point. And then Van Gogh, November 2004, was another turning point. The problem is the politicians are unable to deal with these issues in a productive way.
Because you need theologians for this, or not? Because that's sometimes I wonder.
They don't need theologians. They only need to open their eyes for the real demographical structure of the Dutch society.
Exactly.
They have to understand now that Muslims are not immigrants anymore. Okay, still people think of Muslims as immigrants.
That's why I, as a convert, am a real challenge to a lot of Dutch people, because now they have to adjust their understanding of what a Muslim can be.
I don't have Dutch nationality, I don't have Dutch passport, but I live here.
You teach?
Okay, I teach here, and I care about what is going on. How far the Dutch thinkers, Dutch intellectuals, and now I'm not speaking about Muslim or non-Muslim. Dutch politician will think in terms of the interest of the Dutch society, not of the interest of their own political party.
Exactly.
That's a big misbehavior.
But if you look at the party of Geert Wilders, he tries to present as if he is protecting Dutch society, that he is focused on the interests.
Of course, I mean, but here, I mean, his concept of the Dutch society is excluding not small part of Dutch society, because he thinks in terms of the Dutch society as basically a Calvinist society, not even a Christian society, a Calvinist society.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is even more narrow vision of what is the Dutch society is. And some people, some humanist philosophers, Dutch philosophers, when they speak about Dutch identity, it's all the time I feel the discourse is too narrow. This definition. What is Dutch identity? What do we mean by Dutch identity? What's Dutch identity after the establishment of EU? What is the connectivity between Dutch identity, European identity? What is the connection between Dutch identity, European identity, and the human identity? Okay. In order to create an enemy, you have to narrow your identity, because this will create, the other.
It's
a very clear other.
It almost feels like, again, like we're talking about dogmatism.
Exactly.
That's the funny thing about it.
So political dogmatism.
Exactly.
This is very dangerous for every society, and it's very dangerous. It's more dangerous for the Dutch society because the Netherlands is a very small country. Okay. It doesn't really it cannot really tolerate civil war.
Civil war.
Yes, I mean civil war started by people propagating hate against other people in the same society. It's what civil war starts.
But people like Wilders tried to say, yeah, but they started it. They started to preach hate, and now we try to defend ourselves against them because we acted too late. Now they're part of Dutch society, but that should never have been.
Now, if I quote, Gandhi, if you encounter hate with hate, you are not much better than the ideology you are fighting.
Exactly.
So this is not, I mean, because at the end, hate would prevail, and this is very dangerous for any society.
What is then the best way for Muslims? Because a lot of times Muslims, a lot of them were, of course, poor immigrants that came here. So a lot of the first and second generation are like, leave us alone, we've done our part in Dutch society, we build your roads, we build everything. They want to be left alone, leave us in the mosque, we just want to pray, and then waiting for God to take us. But of course the third generation and still parts of second generation, they're all working hard, they still want to be part of Dutch society. And all they know that there are bad parts of Muslim thinking, and they know that they are not the ones causing all the hate. You know, they're not the extremists, they're not the orthodox. Still, they don't know what to say, because partially what I see is they're afraid of the Wahhabi, the extremist thinkers on the one side, to say like, no, we're not part of them. And on the other side, they don't know what to say to Dutch society because they feel they're not an alim, they're not a scholar. Or what is your advice to Muslims in Holland?
Well, I don't give advice to.
Yeah, you're not a preacher.
No, I mean,
Okay.
what I think is there is a failure in the media. Okay. Because the media has either to show this extremist Wahhabis or those extremist anti-Islam.
The two extremes.
Yeah, the two extremes. The media is not interested in the ordinary Muslim family life. Because it's very important to show the Dutch nation how ordinary Muslim family live.
That's it.
That's it.
That's simple.
That's it. But that's simple. I mean, if you go to an ordinary family and you see how people are living, the father is going to the work, the mother is going to a job, children going to schools. Okay, this would show the Dutch nation that those people are their neighbors.
Yeah, but then, and this is also why it's so interesting to see the cleverness of Wilders, is that he's, for example, says, I don't hate Muslims, I'm fighting Islam.
He hates Muslim. I mean,
yeah, he doesn't say so.
He hates the Quran, for example.
Yeah.
And if you hate the Quran, which is the divine revelation for Muslims, for a very group in your society, how do you think? I mean, it's not hate. It's political interest. Okay. Let's go beyond these expressions. I don't know him. I don't know whether he hates Muslim or doesn't hate Muslim. I'm not really interested in his emotional feeling. But I'm interested on the output of his discourse as a politician. And a politician is responsible. Okay. And most of those people does not have any sense of responsibility. Okay? That's why I see you are not a politician. You are a merchant. You are looking to the next election. You don't give a damn about your country. A real politician have have to have a wider look to the future of this society, not to the future of his party in the coming election.
Exactly.
Okay, this is very much like a Muslim who is only concentrating on what will be in the life after. Okay, will he punished in hell or will he saved in paradise? Not understanding that whatever hell and paradise is the outcome of his behavior in this life, not his behavior as individual behavior.
He's looking over there.
But a responsible person living in a society, he has to be of benefit to the society. So it's the same. And I think it's not only for Dutch politicians, it's all politicians all over the world. We are living in an unethical politics on the entire world.
But
whether we talk about politicians in Palestine, politicians in Israel, politicians in Iran, politicians in the United States. Okay?
Lack of ethics and a lack of connection, probably.
Lack of ethics and lack of vision. Not vision to the safety of the world, but the safety of their own country. And you can find all these problems in everywhere. How far this is going to destroy the peace or peace in each society, and destroy development in each society. This is very dangerous for everyone.
Exactly.
Okay, it's not dangerous for Muslim. It's dangerous for every Dutch citizen. It's dangerous for me. Okay, when people does not really care about the future of this country, about the future of the coming generation, about whether this country is going to develop to create more jobs for next generation. Okay, regardless of to create better educational system. Okay, these are the questions that a politician should be worried about. Okay, of course he or she has to deal with the questions of how to bring different groups into mutual understanding. Okay, this is the responsibility of the media, of politicians, of intellectuals, of teachers. Okay, how far this and this is big responsibility. Okay, this is the community in which we live. Okay, whether we are Dutch citizen or only just resident here, or I mean, it doesn't make difference. I mean, I'm living here. Anything affect my life here. The economic crisis affected my life here. Okay, any crisis. So suppose anything happen between some Muslim groups and non-Muslim Dutch groups, it will affect my life. Okay,
we're all connected.
Yeah, we all connected, and we need to understand this connection, this connectivity. And I think there is a big problem in the Dutch society. I mean, in Europe in general. Okay, sometimes I shout, Europe, open your eyes, get acquainted with non-white skin color. You are not anymore the continent of white race. It's gone.
Yeah, but even white race was the northern part of Europe, not even the southern part of Europe.
Exactly.
So that's
but it's gone. It's done. It's finished. Now in America, they became fully aware of this, of this multi-colorful society. Okay. Europe has to learn that. Until now, for example, okay, in the European Union, they depend on translation. You know how much this translation cost the budget of the European Union. 15 languages. And you still speak about European values. Oh, come on. Give me a break. Give me a break. Open your eyes to reality. Okay? Because European values, European culture is only presented against Muslims.
Yeah.
Okay? Something that is obvious, it doesn't exist. If it does exist, you should have one common language to save these billions of dollars.
The French will never accept that.
Anyway, if the French wouldn't accept that, and the Dutch now wouldn't accept that.
We accepted it. We accepted German, English.
You did. But at the end of the day, now, I mean, it seems, I mean, officially that one of the biggest criteria of being integrated is to speak Dutch, which is limiting what they call Dutch identity. Oh my God. Well, I don't defend myself because I don't speak Dutch. I'm stupid. I didn't learn Dutch. I would love to learn Dutch, but this is not the issue. I'm just trying to show you how everything is limited again and again and again. So sometimes it's Europe. We belong to this, heritage of Europe. Only when it comes to Islam and Quran that this is brought into.
To shove it in the face of the other.
Exactly. So this is, but in the meantime, you have a problem with this EU. A lot of problems. Okay. Every European country is, protecting its own what she thinks its own culture, which is I don't know what it is to say Dutch culture or French culture or British culture. Okay. There is shared elements in these cultures. Okay.
Shared history,
shared hate, wars. Okay. So sometimes you just ignore all of this and change European values. Okay. Sometimes it's Western values.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Western democracy.
It's Western value, Western democracy, Western human rights, and blah blah blah, everything. So what is this going? When you claim Western values or Dutch values or European values, you intentionally or unintentionally excludes Muslims, excludes immigrants from being connected.
Of having no values that matter.
That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous. And unfortunately, the voices in the Dutch society, in the Dutch academia, the voices that have this kind of awareness of the connectivity, they are not really the voices that are presented in the media. Okay. But they exist. They exist in the Netherlands.
Well, they are accused of not acknowledging the truth, not seeing the real problems. But in a sense, you're saying now they are seeing the solutions.
I don't know what is exactly the problem. I mean, it's problems that exist in every society. It's not. It's a problem of economic problems. These are real problems, economic problems. High rate of unemployment, problem of education. But instead of dealing directly with the problems, they have to transform the problem and to make it a problem of immigrants. That's and this would give any group, any other group, feeling that they are rejected, they are excluded. which is not or should not be the case. Yeah.
Like one of the